The Chicago Bulls will face the Brooklyn Nets in the Barclays Center for their first head-to-head matchup. What are your expectations for this particular game? And is this one that you had circled on your calendar?
The Bulls are giving me some type of energy again. They started their 2022 season off with a bang, and I'm feeling like that is kind of the same pathway they're going for the 2023 season as well. I know there's been some games that they've lost, and that's fine. I expect teams to lose some games, but when you're looking at the overall play that they have and the pieces that they have on their roster, I just like what they're doing right now. And I think that I'm expecting to see another show out when it comes to rebounding. If you think about this Bulls roster with Vooch and Drummond, they are rebounding out of control up against a Nets team that don't rebound as much as they should. So I'm looking forward to seeing this rebound extravaganza, which in turn will just make the Bulls a step ahead when we're coming to this matchup. So yeah, that's something. What about you?
Yes, can we just say that Io is embracing his role as a starting point guard? I mean, at
Mhm.
this point, who is Lonzo Ball?
Can we just say he is a suitable replacement?
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
saying.
First, I said a placeholder, but let's just go ahead and honestly say what it is. He is
Hmm.
the replacement, and he is doing
Yes.
an amazing job. I think this is his third season. Io, maybe third season, if I'm not mistaken. But whatever, he balling, and he's balling. You can tell he's more confident. His defense is nice.
Yes.
He's quick. Like Dusumo, you doing it. Ball who?
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing is that I know for a fact DeMar DeRozan will get his. Zach Levine, if he's able to play, because I know they are managing his minutes and managing his games because of his he's coming off a knee surgery and he's recovering from a knee injury. I want to say his knee. He will get his as well. If the three of them, and I say three, DeMar DeRozan, Vooch, and Levine, remotely get started, the game is over. And the Bulls bench, I think Goran Dragic may have found a nice spot with the Bulls. He was not as effective with the Heat the previous season, but I like what he's given to the Bulls when he's coming off the bench. I like it. I like it, and it's a nice look. And with that Drummond,
Ooh.
oh my gosh.
Yes, Andre Drummond recently 17 points, 14 rebounds for the Chicago Bulls. I think we are seeing the old vintage Andre Drummond when he used to play for the Detroit Pistons. We're seeing a resurgence
Oh
right before our
my
eyes, and it's the
goodness.
perfect time in his career, perfect time for the Chicago Bulls. I'm telling you, boy, the Chicago Bulls look really good this season. But let's talk briefly about the Brooklyn Nets. What are some of the challenges that you see for them in this particular matchup?
They're just not enough. It's not enough on the roster. Now, I do understand that for the first few games, they have not been playing with their full roster of role players. I get that. That's when we're talking about Seth Curry's missed like some of the games at the top of the season. TJ Warren is out, and I'm not certain when he's coming back. Markieff Morris has been in and out as well. So I know that Seth came back recently, and he came back and he gave them donut. He
Yes.
brought a donut to the game.
Yes.
And I get it. He's coming back. He got to get back into the rhythm. So what the Nets have not been able to provide us as basketball fans is a full roster of what their role players look like. And I think that may add to what could be missing for the Nets because what I do know is that KD's going to get you his, Kyrie's
Yes.
going to get you his, but everybody else, what? And I'm gonna need for them to figure out something else. They need a backup center. They need a backup big body. Just it's not enough. It's just they don't have enough. And hopefully, with the role players coming back, aside from TJ Warren, maybe we'll start to see momentum pick up. But if they don't figure out defense, it don't even matter.
Well, speaking of defense, I've always been a big fan of Ben Simmons, running a
Oh, I
point
forgot he was
at
on
his size, 6'11", and playing defense against the best opposing player. But I need more from Ben Simmens. He right now he's averaging what 6 rebounds and 6 assists, very little points, if any. He's afraid to shoot the basketball. Like you mentioned, KD, he's going to get his 33 points and 4 rebounds. Kyrie, 29 and 5. but they need production from other people, and they still have Joe Harris. I was hoping Seth Curry could come in and give them something. He was a welcome, he was welcome back to the lineup, but he gave them nothing.
You know what though is funny? I really feel bad, but I totally forgot about Ben Simmons. Oh, I did. You know why? Because he disappears from me when I'm watching the game. He's so passive.
Yeah.
He he I, he disappears when I'm watching the game. He disappears from me, and I don't even see it. So if you don't want to shoot, how can you still positively impact the game? Get on the board, get you some
Yeah.
rebound, get some rebounds, get some defensive stops. Now I know he's been fouled out and he gets high fouls, and that's all good. But at this point, you got to be savvy with that. I'm just he disappears. I forgot just that quick he was on that roster.
Yeah, there are rumors that
Not
Ben Simmons.
impactful.
Yeah, you're right. There are rumors that Ben Simmons intentionally fouls out the game because he doesn't really want to play. His heart is not in it. Doesn't have
Oh,
any
really?
joy for the basketball game,
And
and
so watching him play, that is plausible. That
yeah,
whole theory is plausible. And it really, oh, I remember it now. I really don't like when you have a clear path to a dunk. I mean, a clear path. Like you
yeah,
are fast break clear path. You stop at the free throw line to turn around and give it to somebody else. I can't. Don't do that, Ben. Don't do it. You had a clear. That's what I'm talking about. It's that. So I know you want to get everybody else involved, but you had a clear path. If you just don't raise up a little bit,
it's
read up.
definitely,
Oh,
yeah, it's painful to watch. I mean, they have put Ben Simmons in a position to score. There was one clip of Kyrie yelling, "Shoot it, Ben," and Ben found a way to pass it to KD on the perimeter. Lucky KD made the shot, but oh my goodness, Ben Simmons has to. He has to slash. He has to get the floaters. He has to get some lay-ins. Got to get to the foul line in order for the Nets to even be successful, especially in this matchup against the Chicago Bulls, who have firepower.
you
So,
know what? And that's your point. So you may not, Ben Simmons, be comfortable shooting the ball. So let's work on your floater game.
yeah,
Let's get your layup game together. Do that. You close to the basket at that point, right? So you don't have to shoot. Clearly, you're not going to shoot. But can you at least float? Like, can you do a quick layup? And it's so cold because the other teams don't even care. I'm like,
I
go on,
know.
man. Go on,
Hmm.
man. Oh, you're gonna pass it. Let me go and get ready for your pass because I know that's exactly what you're gonna do. I forgot he was on the team. He's a non-factor for me when it comes to the Nets. And I really feel bad about that because people anticipated, you particularly anticipated that Ben Simmons was gonna come in and show out.
Hmm. I
And
know.
he just came in and disappeared. I can't.
The Brooklyn Nets have taken a couple of L's recently against the Pels, the Grizz, the Bucks. I
Mm.
mean, the Dallas Mavericks, but I think the biggest surprise was an L to the Indiana Pacers. Nobody saw that coming.
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming, but I shouldn't even be surprised, although I am, because the Indiana Pacers with their balanced scoring. I don't know. I may have said it in the previous video, but the balanced scoring that these rosters are producing are getting wins when everybody can get theirs. I understand that we have superstars and we got the one, we got the two. I get that. I don't know if that can continue to be effective on every game. You're going to need somebody else on your starting roster to get theirs as well. You're going to
Mhm.
need somebody on the bench, Nets, to step in and give you something. If you're waiting for your star players to put up 30 plus points in a loss, this is the thing. And the NBA is a long game, it's not a short game, right? So you can high usage your superstars all you want to at the top of the season. When they get close to the end of the season and into the playoffs, if the teams
Mhm.
make it, they're going to be exhausted. And then what? You will have a bust in your postseason. It's not enough. So yeah, I don't like the product. The product that the Nets have been putting out appears to be incomplete because they're missing some of their role players that I believe they're going to be relying heavily on. That's number one. And that if they don't figure out how to be more aggressive on defense and figure out a way to get some rebounds, they're going to continue to have high um, offensive productivity from your top two stars and they're gonna be losing these games left and right.
Hmm. Yeah, speaking of role players, though, for the Chicago Bulls, I mean, Alex Caruso has been battling a hamstring.
Hmm.
Golly, he just played such a crucial role for the
Hmm.
Bulls last season. And
Hmm.
then we can't even forget how wonderful he played for the Los Angeles Lakers in the season prior.
Hmm.
But Alex Caruso, he's a big part of what the Chicago Bulls are doing. And he helps with that perimeter defense. We like Io's defense. If they had Lonzo Ball, oh my goodness, the defense on the perimeter, and especially against a team like the Brooklyn Nets, who do not play defense at all. They do not seem locked in. They have not bought into Steve Nash's system. In fact, I do believe that they're probably trying to get Steve Nash fired. That's what we're up against.
Yeah, that's what we're up against. Getting Steve Nash fired or Steve Nash leaving the organization is one thing. But the next coach that comes in, if he cannot control and they don't buy in, we'll be in the same boat. Because if everybody remembers when KD and Kyrie got together 3 seasons ago, they did not need a coach. What do we think about that now? Back then, I said you do. Today, you do. Like you need a coach. You guys cannot do it. It's not effective. You know what? It's funny. I was reading somewhere where Kyrie and KD account for 52% of the points that the Brooklyn Nets acquire on each game in each game. 52% of their points.
That's
Top of
pitiful.
top of the season, and you want them to be ready for any postseason run? Okay.
Yeah, they're almost averaging about 40 minutes a game. Way too much usage. But that falls on the coach. The coach has to, keep that in mind. At least his assistant coaches have to say, hey, it's time to pull KD and Kyrie. They play almost the entire game, Coach Nash.
Yeah, but who else they gonna put in? That's the problem with the
Yeah.
roster.
Hmm.
This is where the roster issues begin. When you have to have your superstars or your top producers play the entire game, with 48-minute game, they playing 42 minutes. That's a problem. You know what the problem is? Not only with maybe coaching, but also roster construction. So let's talk about that, right? And so when you have proper roster construction, your superstars can get the proper rest during the games so they can get there, so they can be ready for a postseason run. Like, come on. So yeah, the Nets. So clearly, who I have coming out of this matchup is the Bulls. Clearly.
You know what? I think it's going to be a one-off. I think the Brooklyn
Okay.
Nets will wake up out of their slump. I think Ben will eventually start to, catch his joy for the game again, and they'll protect home court and actually play some defense. So I had the Brooklyn Nets coming out of this matchup. As poorly as they've been playing, that's the thing. These guys have pride and they want to start winning basketball games. They cannot continue to be like at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. So I think they'll start to win ball games, and this is one that they'll win.
Okay.